Hello, everybody. This is Anna and Brian from a Modable podcast, and today we have our next guest for Web3 episode, Ben Appleby, who is an expert in the Web3, crypto, and AI, and as well the CEO of Akshun. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hello, Anna. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us today, and it's a real pleasure to have you here, especially in the video. Like you're our first Web3 video episode.
Yeah, innovating from day one.
Yeah, but can you give a quick introduction to yourself and your background so our listeners can understand your journey?
Absolutely. I'm a UX designer by trade. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, as a user experience designer. So I've been designing apps and websites for 20 years. I specialize in like technical UX as well. So I'm definitely in the geek category. And because of that, I'm sort of quite curious about new tech as well. And so heard about Bitcoin and crypto pretty early, got in 2013 and had just kind of like completely orange pilled and gone down the rabbit hole. And that was, maybe 13, 14 years ago. So it sounds like a long time, but this stuff moves really quickly. And one of the reasons that I was interested in UX is because I've got quite an analytical kind of mind, and I look at stuff and think, how can they be better? And when new technology comes along, a lot of the time it's technology driven, it's developer led, and those guys don't necessarily think about product usability. And so when Web3 came along, it needed fixing. And so I wanted to utilize my kind of UX skills to help that.
So why exactly Web3? Like what attracted you to Web3 and like what made you think, okay, this is where I want to apply my skills?
Yeah, when I first kind of heard about it, it was through a friend, my best friend actually, and we'd kind of like shared flats together. He had like a hosting startup, which is actually a kind of awesome kind of business now. Shout out to ProStack, shameless shill there. But it was because he told me about it. I respected his opinion and I knew that he kind of really knew what he was talking about. So if it would have been somebody else, I might have just kind of like passed it off. But because it was him, I was like, hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? I was like, I have to know. Like, I don't want you to know and for me not to know. Like, we've got to level up. And as soon as I sort of looked into it, I was like, wow, I don't understand it. And things that I don't understand, I just throw myself into. And after a few weeks, I was like, I still don't understand it, but there is something about this. And then eventually got round to reading the white paper, and I was just, my God, this is going to change everything. And then a year or so later, Ethereum came out, and I was like, oh my God, plot twist! Like it all changed again. Programmable contracts, and there's a lot to learn about. And once you start, peeling the layers back, when you get to the core, you go, wow, this is big. This is really big.
And should we dive into your like current projects, what you're currently doing with Web3?
Yeah, great. Yeah, why not? So I'm the sort of co-founder and CEO of Akshun, AKSHUN, as everybody continually makes me kind of pronounce it for them. It's a Web3 social gaming and sports betting platform with a twist.
And so for example, if you're a user of the, what would you see? What's the experience? Can you run us through that?
So again, thinking about sort of like UX design and looking at sort of what was on the market and looking for gaps and looking for real world use cases for crypto, I spotted an opportunity. At the same time as spotting an opportunity, I also kind of looked down at a lot of other Web3 projects that weren't really solving problems, and that they were just noise, and they were trying to occupy the space because it was growing and because it was noisy and because it was complicated. And there's an awful lot of low integrity services and apps out there. And, I've done a lot of contracting and freelancers. Like I said, delivered over sort of 400 apps and websites in my career. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do something really awesome. I'm going to kind of look at the sports betting world My immediate reaction was like, how do these things even work? Like, I was looking at like sportsbook and I was just like, it's just jargon. Like, I don't even know what to do. The UI was too dense. I was like, you need a degree in math just to place a bet. And I was just like, well, this is pretty easy, like no brainer, right? Like, democratize gambling, make it socially led, power to the user. And that was the beginning of it, really. And yeah, we've been building it for a couple of years. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So we're kind of like fast approaching version 1, which is the simplest version of the game that we could build, to prove that all the parts worked. And I mean, it's just been crazy. The last 6 months has just been absolutely mad. So much has happened. Just working so much. I don't even really know. Like, there's so many areas of the business I could talk about, but you know, if there's areas that you're interested in, I can talk about the game and how it works. I could talk about the team. I could talk about the sort of the competition, whatever kind of your viewers might find interesting. Happy to, yeah.
I kind of as well interested. What's the story behind the name? Because you mentioned that you need to pronounce it, and just like why twist?
I don't know. It's a bit of a secret. It's an Easter egg. Like, when you get it, you're like, oh my god, really? I'll tell you a bit more about like some of the like taglines that we use, and maybe you can figure it out. But we, you know, our tagline is club together, play together, and we turn amazing moments on the pitch, currently EPL, into playable, tradable NFTs. So it's the actions that happen in sport that are immortalized on the blockchain in the same way that they're immortalized in people's lives. Ticket stubs on their wall, signed shirts on their bedroom, and now NFTs on the blockchain.
Nice. And so far, how has the, I guess, community been receiving the app so far? Like, how are they engaging with the material? Like, what do you find is one of your, I guess, I don't know, it feels like a loaded term, but you know, your best accomplishment to date? Like, what are you most proud of with the current project?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the community first. That was the one thing that we weren't very good at, and I haven't really eaten my own dog food. Like, when you read books like Minimum Viable Launch and, you know, these startup books, you know, their mantra is, you know, don't build it. You've got to find product market fit. You've got to do your research. You've got to build fake door experiments. And I just ignored all that and just started building, because I'm a designer. I like building stuff. I work with devs like all day, every day, or thousands of developers, and I love their brains and how they work. So I just couldn't help myself. Just wanted to start building this thing. And so we built the team. I found Mate, our CTO, who's ex-Bitstamp developer lead, complete unicorn. Just like kind of like rugby playing tough guy, but always smiling and just like methodical, security conscious. So that was like the thing that had to happen. You've got to have a solid tech co-founder. And honestly, I interviewed 400 plus people before I found him. Just for anyone that's thinking about making a startup, like, if you want a CTO, that's what you're going to have to do, to find a guy with that experience, with that motivation, with that vision, who's going to basically come on and work for nothing and join me on this crazy train towards, you know, global domination. And so once we kind of like started establishing the team and getting these kind of frameworks in place and, you know, building to scale, we brought in Will, who's a kind of betting expert, and he sort of helped to sort of develop the game side of it. And it was actually the last bit that was community, and it was we didn't have a marketing co-founder, and we didn't really have any credentials with like community growth. And so it was a massive gap in our team. And we were like, oh my God, we've got to fix this. Like, I can't do it. I can't use Discord. I don't know how to communicate on that way. Like, you've got to like speak the right jargon or you're going to get trolled. And I was just so sort of terrified of it. And I was like, what do you do when there's something that you know you have to do that needs doing, you're avoiding it. You just got to just get in there. So I started just getting in there, becoming comfortable with like building in public. And then one night I was kind of just super stressed, like some features that we were trying to get out were just broken. We had like 3 massive blockers, and I was just like, man, I need to talk to other founders. I've got to get some support. I'm going crazy. And I started searching for like Web3 founders groups, and I found this one group and joined their Discord. And it actually turned out to be the ex-founders of Lazy Lions, which is one of the biggest NFT collections ever, and they're still in the top 10. And they had just started an accelerator. And we were like, oh, cool. And it was like primarily about, very structured, but a big chunk of it was like go to market, building hype. And I was like, yes, get us in. And so we got on. And so they've basically shown us this absolute player playbook, which we've now implemented, and it's working. And so now we're driving users into Discord. Now we're sort of gamifying it. And we've only got 400, but these are completely organic, like sports nuts who love crypto. And you can tell that because the chat isn't when Moon, when Token. The chat is when are Arsenal playing. So we know that it's good. And we've gone from 150 to 400 like in a few weeks. So it's good. So you first asked about the community. Finally, the last bit of the puzzle is there. And it's the most important bit, right? We should have done it first, but hey, we fixed it. The only thing probably for most product, but crypto especially, the secret sauce is the community. You can copy code. Most of it's on chain anyway. You can screenshot a design. You can rip off a brand, but you cannot lift and shift a community. And so that is core. And we are really prioritizing that now. So we've got a kind of like pseudo proof of work thing going. We've got an engaged bot. They earn points to get on the Akshun leaderboard, which is going to be moved on chain when we get that feature out. So they'll go and share our tweets and they'll earn points. If they look at our Loom video and give us feedback, we give them points for that. So they're now sort of starting to compete against each other. So there's really it's action through and through, right? So the actions they're taking are being rewarded. And one of the major blockers that we were dealing with, which has been an absolute pain in the arse, it's held us back for like 2 months, is now unblocked. So it looks like we're basically going to hit MVP like in a matter of days. So just as we're hitting 400 users, so yeah, it's a really exciting time on product. And there's lots of other exciting stuff all around the different areas of the business as well. But I'll take a breath and let you guys reflect on.
Well done.
I won't stop unless consciously told to do so. I'll let you guys
but it's a place to kind of like rumble and talk a little bit more about like what we're passionate about. Mm-hmm. But I was actually curious, like from your perspective, what do you think is the most attractive part in the Web3 mm-hmm. for like sport and games? Mm-hmm. Because I saw a number of like different projects connected to that. So
yeah, I think like again, being a UX guy, it's like power to the user. So for one of the like original kind of ideas that kind of sparked Akshun was an ex-colleague of mine who I was working with. His cousin was a sports agent and he was looking after Tyson Fury. And we were chatting one night and it was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could auction off his knockout punch and you could own that? And it's like, wow, that's really cool, bro. And then that kind of like sowed the seed. And so fast forward to sort of where we are now, when we continually compare ourselves to like standard betting companies, to give you an example about how this plays out. If you're, and I'm not picking on any particular brand here, but there's lots of them, Paddy Power, Betfair, Bet365, all those guys. When you sign up for an account, you give, a vial of blood, you sign forms, you give them all this data. It's like, right now I've got an account. You place a bet. and that bet is kind of static. It sits on their server. You win or you don't win, and that's it, right? There's nothing you can do there. With Akshun, you connect a wallet, bang, you buy a pass, and then the way that the kind of MVP version of the game is like a season pass kind of game mechanic. It mints into your wallet, it's a blank pass, and it's kind of like a scratch card, so it's lucky dip. So you get revealed one of the top 100 strikers from the Premier League, and you don't know who you're going to get. So you might get Armando Broja, or you might get Haaland if you're lucky, and you'll get a minute from 1 to 90 as well. We stream the games in, and if your player scores, you win. If they get an assist, you win. So it enhances the live game experience. But the point is that pass, we use NFTs for that pass, because if you get someone like Haaland, probably within the first 5 games, you've made your money back, and now you've got a yielding asset. And whereas with Bet365, it's fixed, you can't do anything. With an Akshun NFT, you can sell it. You can put it on the open market. I've got a Haaland pass. You could trade it, sell it, and you're in control of that. And the account is abstracted as well. So any action points that you might build up, you can pass those off and trade. Any badges that you acquire, they're assets as well. And so if you play Akshun for 3 years and go, meh, I'm out, you can actually, all these assets and points that you've accrued, you can sell them, you can pass them on, you can send them to a friend, whatever you want. So it is always about ownership. And that message is always lost, or sometimes it's lost when you've got, 15,000 shitcoins launching every day. It kind of, makes a bit of a farce of this huge gift that we were given by Satoshi all those years ago. It is about ownership. So we try and keep that at heart, and we prioritize fun, and we want the users to be part of a community and put as much, give as much weight to these moments that the athletes are creating as it's due. These guys have been training all their lives for that goal, and that's valuable. And we don't want these moments to be throwaway, and the NFTs that represent them aren't throwaway either. We want users to collect them and enjoy them and remember, and so we want long-term value.
So earlier you kind of mentioned, competitors. Like, how does Akshun compare to sort of others, I guess, sports-related collectibles out there? Well, what do you think makes Akshun stand out?
We don't compare. I don't think there's anything like this out there. The closest sort of proxies that we've got, NBA Top Shots, which takes moments, but it's very much a kind of a media moment. And then we've got kind of So Rare, which, fun enough, kind of almost started out as a competitor, but as it happens, we've just got a grant from Chile's blockchain to deploy Akshun on their chain. So rather than a competitor, we look at them more like a partner now, which is great. The So Rare model is great, and it's a kind of bit like a kind of Panini sticker book style interaction. With Akshun, you've got the collectability and the memorabilia, but you've also got the kind of community competition, the Akshun leaderboard. So we do more with it. So we provide more utility, and it can be sort of anything to everyone. If you like sports and you like crypto, then there's value here as well. But they've done amazingly well, but they did start with 100 million investment, and we're self-funded. We don't have any IP, so we don't use players' faces or shirts. It's completely IP agnostic, and it's sports agnostic as well. So currently it's wired up for the EPL, but we've got data streams for NBA, NFL. So it's a great roadmap for not just for the community. You might like football and MMA, and so you can come into the Akshun arena and start climbing up a global leaderboard and collecting these different kind of NFTs. But yeah, I think we're able to be very nimble and agile because we're still pre-token generation event. So we do have plans for a token, but it's only when we bring our in-game betting in, which is kind of phase 2 of the product roadmap. So currently we're building in the Akshun leaderboard into which is currently driven by a Discord bot. We'll move that on chain, and as soon as we start getting beta feedback through kind of free mints, that will add points to the leaderboard. And then when we do get to perks, I need to talk about perks a bit more because we've got some awesome perks coming our way. That will be, so it's basically like proof of work. So the more engagement and interaction that you have in Akshun, the more you're going to go up to the leaderboard and the more you're going to benefit. So we've got, there's a lot of high quality users and traffic in Asia and lots of like Nigerian users joining our Discord. The price point is high for Akshun. It's $100, which is a lot of money, especially if you're not in a European country or the States or something like that. But the way that Akshun works is that the higher up you are on the leaderboard, the cheaper it's going to be for you to get the pass. So if you want to put the effort in and shill our tweets and welcome people to the Discord and talk to them about it, you're going to be rewarded for that. And then when you buy in, it's going to be accounted for as well. So we talk about fair launch. This is, a fair buy and a fair community. And one of the other brand promises is to get our users closer to their heroes. And even though we haven't bagged our Chili's grant at the moment, it's cured enough for me to sort of talk about it a bit more. It's very, very exciting. So massive shout out to Oleg at Chili's and Hazel as well, who's was community manager for Turkey there. She's also supporting us as well. They've got partnerships with over 75 football clubs, and that is gold. That is what our users want. They recently told me about one of the prizes that I think was a So Rare prize on Chili's, and one of the users won a prize where they went on the private jet with FC Barca and on the flight with them. And I was just like, if we can get anything like that, the community's going to love it. And they've got 75 clubs and just access to all these partners. So it's a great time for Akshun. It's really exciting, and there's lots more that I could talk about, but I need to keep a lot of this stuff under wraps until it's official.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned that those type of experiences, they're priceless for the fans. Mm-hmm. It's just you can't really even put the price on that. But maybe can you give even some advice, because you have a lot of experience in the Web3 and right now you're a CEO and the founder yourself, so can you give some advice to those who want to actually create a project in the Web3, especially right now with a lot of changes in the world with and politics and everything? So
there's lots of things I can hopefully help people. I think the first and most important thing is finding your tribe and finding your people. And I mentioned that it was 400 meetings of potential CTOs before I found Mate, and it was within seconds of meeting him, I was like, this is the guy. But you're going to have to find the right people. So, I'm 45 years old. I know I look much younger than that. But at my age, I need to make a lot of effort to go and meet new people. So lots of networking, going to the events that are kind of, on point with what you're doing and meeting those people and making connections, as many connections as you can, and finding these weird people that just want to work in evenings and weekends for a hope and a dream. So find those people, stay away from people that are negative, stay away from people that tell you they don't like the idea or that it's not going to work. They're just going to suck life out of you. Find the positive people that want to do it and that have got the motivation, and stick with them. Hot tip is Wellfound is a great place to find people. So get a job, put that on Wellfound, all the people on there are already kind of like startup mindset. So you don't have to do the whole hard sell on, you're not going to get any money for a year. They're already sort of conditioned to kind of open to those ideas. So that's a really great place to start. But if you are young and you're at uni, that's where you're going to find the people, because you have to trust them. So, your bros, and if you've got the right ideas, that's where the magic can happen, So people that you can trust with similar ideas and energy, that's a great place. I actually found a load of good people at like grad fairs, and we've done stalls at universities as well. And there's like so much energy there, and so many sort of, clever brains and ideas. So you just got to get out there. In terms of like finding product market fit, that's kind of super important, but it's not everything, because there's a classic Steve Jobs quote in here somewhere, but I'm going to sponge it because I'm not going to get it right. But I think the sentiment is that you don't know what you want until you see it sometimes. So don't let that hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back, really. Don't worry about the trends of crypto, because they're mad. Like, trends happen so quickly. You feel like, if you haven't trailed the whole of Reddit and Twitter this morning, you're behind. Bull runs are going to come and go. Everyone keeps putting on Twitter like NFTs are dead. NFTs are dead. It's like, that's like saying electricity is dead. Like, NFTs aren't dead. The community behind them might be dead, or the founders that don't want to do the project might have gone off somewhere else, or might have rugged people. NFTs are a technology. They're a great technology. Fungible and non-fungible tokens. It's just the beginning. There's a Web3 app for everything. It is, go take one. There's millions. Take any industry, and you can go disrupt it with Web3. So it's a great time to start a startup. There's so many resources these days. You could a computer and a phone, and you can make amazing things happen if you've got the right support. You're not going to survive on your own as a founder. You'll hit burnout. You need support around you. So get the tribe, get the good people, come up with some cool ideas, test it early on, and build a community first. Get feedback, get them excited, and take them on the journey, and let them build it with you, and they'll become really loyal.
It's a great piece of advice. Thank you. And maybe, do you have, should we jump to the hopes and predictions for the future of the Web3 and your project as well? So what do you expect it from this year?
I mean, this year is just looking crazy for us. I'll finish on hopes and dreams. So let's not make it all about Akshun. But so the next things for Akshun, we just got our SCIS accreditation, which opens us out for investors. We've just taken on the process of taking on a new chairman, a guy called Graham Martin, who's chairman of over 100 betting companies. So he's very well known and respected. We've got our first round, which looks like it's almost a given. So we're just doing the gnarly paperwork and heads of term sheets and stuff like that. We've got a VC firm stacked up for the next round. So it looks like we're going to get funded. Yay. And that was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. So as soon as that money goes in the account, I'm just going to be like, oh my God, I did it. It's really hard. You just got to work so hard at that. To convince investors to give you their money, is you've got to have a good pitch. So yeah, funding rounds, getting on Chili's, and Project Launcher, our accelerator, helping us to sort of build hype and hopefully sell out our first season pass collection. So that's going to be fun. For the rest of crypto, maybe I can kind of spray some alpha. I think base meme coins are good, not financial advice. There's so much growth there. It's absolutely nuts. Like, if you look at the stats on base, if you just look at the developer contributions, the growth is just absolutely insane. I think Coinbase are going to release their new wallet, which completely links up access to all the meme coins. So you're going to be able to atomically swap from your Coinbase wallet. Instead of just the trading pairs on Coinbase, you're going to get access to all these meme coins. So again, not financial advice, but loading up on base meme coins that potentially could like challenge Solana and flip that side of things is a good move. Check out Pulse Chain and the Richard Hart ecosystem. There's some crazy stuff going on there as well, so don't fade that. That's a massive growth for this year. What else? Yeah, be really careful on stuff like, pump.fun. You're going to get wrecked. Don't do leverage trading. There's enough gains to be made just by buying and holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't get too greedy. Keep an eye on the cycle. We've got maybe another 12 months of pump, so don't get left holding the bags. We've got ups and downs. Trade out to stable coins, maintain that value, because we know Bitcoin is going to go down. We know they're all going to go down through the bear market. So maintain that value by trading out to stable coins and buy back in. There's a lot of chat about AI agents, and I would just sort of claim it as chat. I haven't really seen, I've got a few positions in some, again, base AI chat agents, and just completely wrecked on those positions at the moment. So maybe they'll go up as the bull run kicks in. And I think there's just going to be, I think that, sport and gambling and gaming is such a perfect fit for crypto, which is obviously why we're in the space as well. So I think there's going to be lots more businesses that are going to be sort of joining companies like Akshun on that journey. So yeah.
Perfect. And I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. So I'd like to leave the last minute or so for yourself, just for any last words to our listeners, or like how can people find out more about Akshun? How can they get involved, and where can they find your Discord?
Nice. I'm not going to try and read out the Discord link, but I think you guys are going to put it in the comments.
Yeah, we will.
Like I said, it's super easy to come in and get involved in Akshun, join the Discord, or if you want to get on the Akshun leaderboards, all you need to do is just watch a 4-minute product demo video and come and give us some feedback. If it's bad feedback, we like it even better than good feedback. And again, those points will be transferred on-chain. So get in early. Again, that Akshun leaderboard is going to donate whitelists, airdrops, and perks as well. So the earlier the better, and that goes for all crypto. Get in early. And yeah, if you love sports, especially if you like the EPL, which the English Premier League, which is the first game that we're launching with, you're going to love Akshun, so come join us. It's akshun.xyz, and the community, there's no trolling. It is a friendly community. I'm on the Discord every day. No question is too silly. Come join us. Tell us what team you support, and join us on the journey. It's going to be a crazy year.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this episode with us. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And sorry that it was very short, but you managed to tell squeeze in a lot of information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye.